Importance teaching is a seemingly simple teaching style. You just focus on whatever matters most to your students. You'd assume teaching what the students most need would be a ubiquitous approach, but this is very much not the case. In school, for example, we do this fairly well with young children. Behavior, play, basic math, and reading are all vital. Gradually, though, teaching shifts from what matters most to the students. English literature, history, geography, languages, music, and many more subjects are very useful, but not optimal. This reflects an engagement. The kid who says algebra is useless is articulating this point, but doing so poorly. When you teach what matters most to the learner, improvement is rapid and almost invariably engaging. Avoid teaching unnecessary information. Overteaching happens when you do not focus on the goal, or when the learner already knows or can easily work out how to perform the action in question. Ideally, students should try actions that are easy, intuitive, and where the costs of failure are low, but have a helper or reference materials on hand if they get stuck. Actions with high failure costs, such as parachuting, clearly require training, as do those that are so complex that knowing where to start is hard. We recommend instructional designer Kathy Moore's action mapping approach. Kathy instructs designers to begin with a clear goal, identify the actions necessary to achieve that goal, develop practice activities if needed, provide information only when necessary, usually when someone is stuck. If you want to train someone to improve generally through importance teaching, you need to understand the subject well enough yourself to identify what matters most. It also really helps if you know what your learners know already. Almost invariably, what matters most will be general principles. Treat others as you'd have them treat you is an example of a core principle that guides how you should act in countless situations. Even with exceptions, principles teach rapidly. To highlight quite how much difference studying everything or just a subject's core principles can make, compare the time it takes to learn how to research any period of history to the impossible task of studying everything that has ever happened. As you rarely need to know a historical fact immediately, learning how to research information is typically sufficient. The following are typically beneficial. Indicating why a subject is valuable is usually the first step. It drives engagement and motivation. Teaching a student to understand, apply, or analyze the subject, often through rules or core principles, explaining next steps, and essential facts requiring instant recall, for example, knowing how to brake when driving. Additionally, storytelling and other methods to drive engagement may be extraneous, but often enhance interest and memory. And if you are teaching toward mastering a subject, evaluation and creation also matter. It is unwise to cut everything else, mainly because it is too time-consuming, but cutting what you can will dramatically improve your effectiveness. So, how practically does importance teaching work? Step 1. Ask yourself what matters most to the student. Not just one thing, but all contenders. This may require consulting a subject matter expert or performing research. If you're not strongly opposed to AI, getting it to rank the most important things to teach in that subject should help, but also should not be the only thing you do. Step 2. Loosely order them. Do this based on engagement, desired outcomes, teaching in a logical order, newness, your ability to teach the subject, and of course, importance. Note that deciding what to include and what to leave out is key when using importance teaching. There is tension here. Most often, people improve the quickest by fixing a fundamental mistake. However, helping a student identify what that obvious thing is may mean repeating things they already know. This risks engagement and is one of the hardest aspects of any teaching, but especially importance teaching. Also, when you teach something that seems intuitive, many people assume they knew it already, or that they do it, even if this is not the case. Previously, we mentioned the principle. Treat others as you'd have them treat you. This is a rule that almost everyone knows, but is frequently broken. This rule does have some exceptions, but most often when someone breaks it, there is a personal cost. In other words, extremely few break it only when it is strategically correct. Although no one always treats others optimally, mentioning this rule will almost always make learners shut off. There are countless engaging ways to explain something a student believes they already know and do, including the way we've explained it here. Do note, though, that this aspect of teaching is amongst the hardest and needs a variety of solutions. Step 3. Execution. Fine details. Most of this stuff is widely known, such as instant feedback, varying materials and teaching styles to increase engagement, spaced repetition, and so on. Step 4. Iteration and improvement. Self-knowledge is crucial to eliminating mistakes when you teach. Average performers make numerous unnoticed errors, but unless a mistake is critical, they improve faster by learning new concepts. As skill increases, however, identifying errors becomes more crucial. Anyone seeking mastery must excel at spotting and correcting mistakes, or rely on coaches to do this for them. The easiest way to gain self-knowledge is through external input, such as coaching or asking a student, friend, or colleague for feedback. Studying can reveal errors. Two related activities, observing someone perform an action you wish to master and having someone observe you, are commonly underutilized. It is ideal to discuss those actions either during or immediately afterward. While it's usually better to have someone scrutinize you than it is for you to observe them, the difference is minimal. Both approaches often reveal surprisingly large numbers of mistakes and discussion points, even when the action seems simple. The better the viewers and participants are, the more effective the process. Skilled individuals are more likely to spot errors or demonstrate actions worth emulating. Explaining concepts to others or writing them down in your own words can also be helpful, as these are some of the most effective ways to identify mistakes and clarify your understanding. Even without an audience, this method compels you to thoroughly think through and identify areas you don't fully understand. Renowned physicist Richard Feynman endorsed this technique, advocating teaching in a manner understandable to a 12-year-old. While valuable for nearly any subject, this approach particularly shines when studying theoretical subjects, such as particle physics or happiness, as this may be as close to practice as possible. Another study technique is experimentation. Typically, experimentation becomes valuable as you near the pinnacle of a field. Otherwise, it is usually too slow. It comes into its own when you look to correct mistakes that are not unique to you, especially when you are pioneering new territory in a subject or wish to be sure something is correct. How do you improve your self-reflection? Get feedback from others. Test yourself. Focus thought. Many questions will reveal insights about yourself. Some enlightening questions include, why do I feel this way? What do I care about? And why did I do that? Reflect. Try new things. As mentioned, this is the best way to determine your preferences. Another way to gain self-knowledge is to test yourself. Any exam that shows how you did gives feedback. Even without external feedback, trying hard at anything will help you discover your limits and gain other self-knowledge. Thanks for watching. A parting idea is that strong teaching is all about the level of thought and detail that is put into it. Thought is best driven by asking yourself questions.